Hey, good afternoon or good morning, or no, good afternoon to most. Not sure where you are joining from. That's a good segue. If you are here live, please drop in the comments where you're joining from. But good morning. My name is Terrence Clark. I'm here to give and go over with you all inside the seller's head how our offer stacking system helps turn buyers' interest into listings for you. So thank you all for joining. Please, as we're going through this, drop your questions in the comments section. We have Teen Delahan from Solutions team helping us out, moderating the comments section. So we'll try to answer those comments and questions live. But if we get too thrown off, we'll ask you to save them to the end. So again, thanks for joining us. Let's get right into it. So why this training matters, right? And here's the most important thing is in a world where we need to stand out, right? There's over 1 million agents nationwide. We want to help you lead with offers and not pitches, right? So many sellers think that all agents are the same, that we don't do much outside of just throw a property on the MLS. And so this strategy and this value prop from Express Offers is going to help you leverage a seller's curiosity. We know that they're interested. Uh, Also, sellers want offers, not necessarily pitches. They know they're going to receive pitches from multiple people. Also, our process is going to help you uncover or extrapolate true seller motivation, whether that's speed, convenience, or they're actually looking for top dollar. Agents who do lead with this value prop, you're actually again able to cut the line beyond all the noise to a seller and get in front of them because you actually led with something that they're interested in. Again, offers. So, and then lastly, we have our two appointment process to control and maximize the conversation and actually convert that into a listing or maybe a cash offer or cash transaction. So our core adage here is every interested seller is interested in an offer, right? And just keeping it simple. We're not talking about cash offers. We're not talking about as is offers. We're not talking about investors. We're just saying simply that if a seller is interested in selling, that they are interested in an offer. Not to say that, this is the best offer or going to be the right offer for them, but they're at least curious of what the offer may be. So what we're doing is we're leveraging that offer to get in the door and control the process and the conversation so that we can build trust and set expectations along the way. Our objectives today is to learn why leading with offers works. I'm going to teach you a bit about the two appointment process and the framework. Then we'll talk about what offer stacking is and when and how to pivot when an as is offer isn't accepted. So we talked a little bit about this to lead in, but why these offers or why leading with offers works is because immediately anybody who's interested in selling is interested in an offer. You're going to allow yourself to differentiate yourself amongst the market. Most agents are not leading with offers for fear of maybe feeling like they're going to bait and switch, or maybe not confident presenting that as is offer, right? So by leveraging the offer, you are going to be different than 90% of the agents that are in your market. This is also going to help you have price control. We want to lead with this feedback from actual buyers to position and educate our sellers when they are ready to go on the market. They'll have actual demand that they can leverage, right? Whether or not they decide to go to the market as is, or maybe they're going to do some fixing up before they list it. We're going to leverage all the information we get from the buyers in this preliminary stage to help position the seller for whichever route they decide to go. And again, we're opening doors with these offers, right? With the conversation. Again, it may not be the right buyer for this particular seller, but we're able to have a conversation and really find out what is the true motivation and the true goal behind them selling the property in the first place. So now we're getting into the seller's head, right? They're curious. They want to know how much are they being offered. They love the convenience. Convenience is actually driving the world. If you've ever heard me speak before, you've heard me say convenience is $1 billion business. If you look at your everything from your fast food to Uber Eats, Amazon, right? We as consumers in today's marketplace, no matter if it's buying houses, buying cars, groceries, food, we love convenience, right? And so we're able to lead with that. We're also leaning on the fact that they hope it's easy. They want a convenient process. They don't want something long, drawn out. Actually, data by NAR stated that one of the most important factors that a homeowner makes a decision off of is based on when they can actually get to the next spot, right? They need their house to be sold in a timely manner. So sometimes they're willing to trade, right, the amount that they sell for the time that they want to sell for. Also, the expectation. They may need top dollar, and we have to use this process to show them how to get to top dollar. I always tell agents too, investors and sellers and traditional sellers are not that much different in the sense of they both want to get as much value out of the property as they can. And sometimes a traditional seller just needs to understand what all has to actually go into that in order to get the top dollar. Lastly is the confusion, right? If they're a for sale by owner or expired listing, they're getting hit up by agents, wholesalers, investors, and so they don't know who to trust. We're able to kind of leverage that by coming to the situation and to their world with multiple offers, right? Multiple opportunities, whether it's the cash offer, maybe they're using Zoom Casa in our platform where they can fix and list, or maybe it's a traditional sale. They can get all these options from a single agent using our platform. Walk through the Express Offers process really quickly. A quick 5-step process that you should know and feel comfortable with. Step one is really the conversation. With this step one, we're really focusing on the details about the property, right? We want to know and learn about the property's condition. And two, we want to set that appointment. We want to set an appointment to go out and physically see the property. If you are reverse engineering your conversation, meaning you are prospecting and making your calls based on the buy boxes that you have access to, right? So that may mean going to Zillow and setting up a search for sale by owner properties that meet certain criteria, whether it's built before 1970 with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, right? We are trying to have that conversation and do that research beforehand so that we can have confidence when we're talking to them. So we want to then gather the details. Then we want to set an appointment. Setting the appointment is probably the most important part of that first conversation because it gives us an actual reason to be face to face. Step two, you're going to actually make the submission, right? We've gathered all the details that you needed in order to make that submission. So we need to know, again, what condition is the house in? And we also want to have that be a segue into the reason why we want to come out to the house. A lot of times they can tell us about the condition visually, but can they tell us about the major components, the air conditioner, the electrical panel, things of that nature, to make sure that that's really what the buyers are looking for, right? They want to make sure that the high ticket items are either in good shape or they need to account to replace those things so that they can receive the top dollar, right? And having that detail, we can then turn that insight over to the sellers the same way so they understand how to maximize value. Step three, we're going to get the feedback from the buyer. So they'll come back with preliminary offer ranges, usually based off of their buy box. It's going to tell us, this is a fix and flip buyer. So we know that they're looking at mainly margins. I'd say 70% rules a good one to know and understand so that you can turn those insights back over to the seller in a way that it makes sense for them and that they could actually use if in the event they decide to sell it on market in its as is condition. Part of that feedback too is, again, we are sharing multiple opportunities, right? So you do have that cash offer. You may also have a equity unlock offer from a company like Zoom Casa, and then also comparing the traditional route to sell. If they do want to move forward with any of those ranges, we need to set up the evaluation. That's where the buyer is going to come out, walk the property, confirm the condition, make sure that everything that we submitted is what they thought. And so from there, they will give us a final offer and verify their offer price with the proof of funds as well. So the 2 appointment flow, really love this flow because I like to relate it a lot to like dating, right? You can't on the first date without knowing much go in and ask for everything, right? You got to take some time to build a relationship with people. And so the 2 appointment process is going to really help us focus on first appointment being about discovery, building that relationship, learning about the condition of the house. In between appointment 1 and 2 is where the research and the preparation and offer stacking comes into play. I would say to you that this portion of it, the in between appointments, is probably, again, one of the most important pieces. You want to make sure that you've done all the prep work in between 1 and 2, so that when you get to appointment 2, you can confidently speak to what the actual opportunities are that that seller has. Appointment 2 is where we, again, are presenting all of the opportunities and helping the seller guide them to a decision that actually helps them reach their goal. Why 2 appointments? Really making it clear is sellers are curious. We want to build trust with a process, right? We want to learn a little bit about the seller before we say, hey, this is the right or wrong way or best way that you should be selling your house. Give the seller clarity. I would say, going back to trust, when we get out to the house and we're actually in front of the seller, it's going to make the numbers that we present a lot more sticky. How realistic are numbers that come from buyers that haven't seen the house yet? And sellers know that. That's something that they will push back on. It's like, especially if it's a lower offer than they thought, it kind of makes you less credible. You want to get in there and really learn about the condition of the house and their actual situation, so that you can advise on what is the best route that they should take with that clarity. Next, we're giving them the control of having multiple different solutions and options that they can choose from. Because we're the ones bringing all of those options, we do have a certain level of authority that we build with this seller, and then we leverage that authority into momentum that's going to help us convert, again, whether it is a cash sale that they go for or they want to do a traditional listing. We're prepared because we have the Express Offers platform. We've gone through the trainings. We've worked on our word tracks to be able to present all the different options for the seller to choose, not us as the agent, but what option that they want to take in order to sell their house. Appointment 1, again, is mostly about discovery and condition. We're really building rapport here. We want to learn about their situation. Again, like going to the doctor's office, you wouldn't expect that the doctor just kind of prescribe medicine without having a full understanding of what your situation was. And this is very much the same. So we want to get out to the house. We want to know what type of opportunities are there to add value, to make sure that the house, if the seller does want to get top dollar, is in position to actually do that. Let's stop here for a second. I want to see if we can answer this question. So, I'm new to EXP. Prior to coming over, I've never heard of Express Offers. Is this something exclusive to EXP? The other question is, do you have templates, tools? We have access to market this. So, second question, definitely have access to tools, and we'll share some of those at the end of this webinar. And then, as far as it being exclusive to EXP, Express Offers is EXP's cash offer platform that is exclusive to our agents. So while there's a lot of other offerings out there, Express Offers is exclusively for EXP agents. Great question. So between 1 and 2, again, you'll see most bullets here because this is really where the conversion is happening. You getting a great understanding of, and not even understanding, but organizing the insight that you have now that you've been out to the house. So we want to first, set up our touch points in between 1 and 2 is usually between 24 to 48 hours. I advise to have some type of campaign, whether it's an email, couple of text messages that go out. Kind of want to meet the seller where it's at, right? Imagine you are talking to a for sale by owner. They're new to the market. You can probably guess that they are hearing from other agents and investors. So we want to have a campaign that kind of lets them know that we understand that, and here's how they should be thinking about that, right? So set up your campaign. So again, keep yourself top of mind. Now that you've been in the house and see what the opportunities are, come up with a estimate of repair and what those costs may look like. You could be using the Curbio app. I think that's a phenomenal app to be able to go in, put in some basic information, and get a roundabout idea of what repairs could cost. That's just one tool you have on your tool belt that doesn't cost you a penny to use. Next, be researching the ARV. We want to understand and know, what does top dollar actually look like for this house in this area. It helps the seller understand that they can't just go and add any type of renovations and the house is going to automatically sell for more. We need to understand our ARV from a perspective of what is actually sold and what has sold for top dollar, and compare that and help the seller understand what the journey is to get to that top dollar. Do they need to add Do they need to do renovations? Do they need to repair their bathrooms, do kitchen renovations, right? What is it actually going to take? Next, let's look at the as is value, right? What are homes selling for cash without doing any repairs as is? That can help us again frame the conversation as to here are the couple of different values and here's how you get there. Maybe it is worth the trade-off for the seller to say, hey, to be able to walk away, not do anything, not touch anything, I'm okay with the cash offer, right? We want to understand what that value is so that we can justify it if it comes down to that. Also, another big piece is the holding costs. We want to know what is it actually costing the seller to keep this property for the 3, 4, 5, 6 months that it may be for it to get sold on the open market. All this goes into that seller's net. While it's rarely factored in, I noticed it is definitely something that impacts a seller's net and their ability to kind of cash flow manage. They may not always think of, well, I'm actually costing myself, mortgage, utilities, electric. They're actually costing themselves between 2 and 4 grand a month to just keep the property. When we're giving them all the comparisons based off of the speed that it may take for one of the solutions, they should absolutely be accounting for the holding cost. So you want to do some of that research while you're in this in-between stage. We are organizing our buyer feedback. So again, is it a buy and hold or fix and flip investor, and what is their scope of work in order to hit their threshold, right? To get to that top rent or to get max dollars on the market when they do flip the property. We want to be able to communicate this to a seller. It just helps again build that authority. The equity unlock programs, this is something that we have in our tool belt to pivot when they say that the cash offer is too low, right? It's important if you are someone who is just saying, hey, I'm going to put this in front of every seller, then you need to be prepared for when a seller says, oh, wait, that's way too low. I can't accept the offer like that. And so knowing what the other options are, especially the equity unlock programs, is really just going to help you have that conversation. We want you to be drafting potential net sheets, showing the seller what does it look like for each one of these scenarios when I get to the closing table. What am I going to actually leave the table with? From there, also prepare your listing paperwork, right? Second appointment, you now have the seller almost on the edge of their seats to the end of the sales funnel. You want to make sure that if they are ready to list the house, you're completely ready to go with your paperwork ready for them to sign. And lastly, create your condition recap. So when you are presenting all of your figures, it's based off of the home's as is condition. We want the seller to acknowledge that as is today may not be the condition that they're coming to market with, especially if they're trying to get top dollar. Appointment 2, this is where, again, our offer stacking and pivot is coming into play. So now that we have our options, right? We have our cash offer, we have our equity unlock offer, and then we have our traditional MLS offer. We're going to walk the seller through first that cash offer because we usually lead with that conversation, right? We usually lead with the curiosity of interest in an offer. So we want to make sure that the first thing is first. We keep the main thing, which was presenting that offer that we said that we had. So we'll start there. We'll let we have to learn to also be okay with a little silence. I know it's hard. You get through a complete presentation, you're showing them numbers, and you have to kind of pull yourself back to be quiet, right? I know it's something that a lot of us, we like to fill the space with words, and it's not necessary in this particular situation, right? We want the seller to react. We want to get that raw emotion. We want them to say something like, that's way too low, right? When they say it's way too low, now we can kind of pivot into, you know what, I'm not surprised. This is the most convenient certain way to sell your home, but it does come up with a trade-off. But if you are interested in getting top dollar, here's another way, right? That's the equity unlock. And if that doesn't satisfy you, well, here's the last way that I want to offer you as a traditional listing where we are going to broadcast this home to as many buyers as possible and get you that top dollar for whoever sees the most value in the property. Stacking it that way really, again, helps you to present multiple options, but not be a one-trick pony. Oh, I went backwards. Sorry about that. So 2-appointment flow. First appointment, again, focus on discovery, condition, building rapport, and setting the expectations. I did not talk much about the expectations, but in appointment one, we really want to make sure that we, again, tell them 24 to 48 hours until we're going to have some of that feedback. And then two, we want to set that second appointment up on that first appointment. So we want the seller to know, hey, I'll get you this information, and in that after 48 hours, let's meet back here. Let's say today's Tuesday, so maybe Thursday, and give them that expectation so that they know, yes, we're going to be meeting again. They kind of check that off so that in that first appointment, you can also say things like, hey, I know you're going to be getting called and marketed from several different people, whether it's other agents or other investors. Let me just present, before you make any decision, let me just present to you what we have, just so you can make sure that you don't leave anything on the table, right? It kind of puts a pin in their thought, and they'll actually hold on to that, especially if you have built that rapport with them on appointment one. To your question, Taj, about equity unlock. So we leverage Zoomkasa in our platform. Zoomkasa is in all 50 states. You can get to that again just with the same submission process that you do for all the other buyers, and they'll actually reach out to you and walk you through kind of their process and how it can benefit the seller. So Zoomkasa is who we have for now, and stay tuned. There's definitely going to be some updates to that in the near future. Again, in between appointments, that's the preparation. So we want to stay top of mind. We want to make sure that we have a condition recap, repair estimates, holding costs, make sure that we know the as is value, and we've done that research, and then also prepare those net sheets, because it all comes down to the net. Most times, especially those of you who are reaching out to for sale by owners, they're always saying, well, I'm not paying a buyer, I'm not paying a buyer's agent, or do you have a buyer? Like, ultimately, them not using an agent ultimately comes down to them thinking that using an agent is going to hurt their net. So we want to make sure that we prepare everything so that they can see exactly what it does to their net to have us involved in the actual sale of their home. So that's super important. Last, execute on appointment two. So we want to present the offers. We want to make sure that we review the condition. We want to also point out the pros and the cons of each scenario, right? Cash offer has different pros and cons than the equity unlock, as does the traditional listing. And so if we're doing what we're supposed to in terms of building rapport in the conversation, we're going to know exactly which option is going to fit best for the seller based off of their goals. So make sure that you are not missing a beat on the appointment one, where you need to be building that rapport and learning about their condition and discovering their situation. Oh, no. Sorry about that. Okay, so offer stacking defined. All this means here is, again, multiple different selling solutions. Again, the cash offer, the equity unlock, and a traditional listing. We want to put these things almost side by side for a seller so that they don't feel like there's anything left for them to discover. We want to ultimately position ourselves as the person with all of the answers. And you don't necessarily have to have all the answers, right? You have a great company in EXP where you can come and get more information almost at a click of a button. But know what their options are and be able to put those in front of them so that they're not having to choose whether or not you have the options. It's more so, what options are they going to go with when you present them? So keep that in mind. But that really is the definition of offer stacking. Why it works is cool too, because you're giving them multiple options, and again, based off of their goals, one is going to stand out more than any other option, right? If they absolutely have to get out of the home, maybe they don't have as much equity to do like the reserve on an equity unlock program, the cash offer is going to be the best for them. But maybe it's more so a time frame. They've got a ton of equity, but they need to get out the house for a certain time, but they also want top dollar. That's going to be the equity unlock program. And so I see a question in the chat. I want to just answer this about information on the equity unlock program. So again, if you submit a property to ExpressOffers and you're able to submit the property to Zoomkasa, who is a buyer on our platform, they're actually going to reach out to you when the property comes across their queue, and they're going to explain to you all of the pros, cons, and details about their process. So you'll always know when your property does qualify for that someone's going to reach out and help you go through it. So I want to talk about how setting expectations helps you build trust. Every time you say that you're going to do something, every time that you actually perform on that, you do build trust. You build yourself into someone that the seller can rely on. So one of the things that we use again in our initial conversations is telling the seller, "Hey, it's going to be 24 to 48 hours before we have feedback." Again, on that first appointment, "Hey, we're going to meet you back here in 24 to 48 hours," and setting that expectation right then and there. Also, initial conversations, we tell the sellers, "Hey, I'm going to send you an email about me, my team, and what it is that we do." Anytime you set that bullet of something that you're going to do and you perform on it, it helps you to build trust. So when you're having your conversations, whether it's before the initial appointment or after, we want to create little opportunities where we can set expectations and fulfill them to help again position us as the authority and someone that they can actually trust. So handling framework, we want you to really understand that it's not about validating the numbers. You're not the one who wrote the offer. It's not your cash offer. It's not what you believe the house is worth. And so when you get that type of feedback, I want you to try to use this framework. It's called CARC. It's an acronym that stands for clarify, acknowledge, respond, and close, so that you can get through almost any objections. And we'll show you it here in action, how it works or how it comes up in our process. So in appointment two, did I skip? Okay. So appointment two, it comes up. This is a little backwards. Sorry for that. Appointment two, it comes up. Hey, this offer is lower than what I expected. So to clarify, so you thought the offer would come in higher. That's how we're clarifying, right? Just stating it, just stating what we believe the concern is. We're then going to acknowledge that, hey, okay, that makes sense. Most sellers do hope for more. Responding by, that's why I show you all the paths side by side. You can decide what path makes the most sense for you, right? So by using that framework, we're able to take it away from the objection and move back to, hey, here's a solution that works. That's appointment two, it comes up. And then appointment one, especially if you're a prospector and maybe you said something and a seller says, "Oh, well, I don't want to work with any investors. I don't want any lowball offers," right? I hear that. That's definitely something that comes up. So again, using the CARC method, clarify, acknowledge, respond, and close. Sounds like you're worried that the offer might be too low. A lot of sellers feel that way, right? We're acknowledging that it's valid. Then we're going to respond. That's why we gather feedback first. No obligation or decisions need to be made now. Let's review it together in the next 24 to 48 hours and then close. That's how you're going to close that loop. All right. Okay. I try to use Express Offers program. Setting to be changed. Is this that training? No, David, this is not that training. You should have been sent to the access quiz, which essentially is a quick quiz that you'll take to ensure that you understand the process. If you don't have that, reach out to me on Slack and I will get it to you so you can easily go into the platform. So again, pivoting, we are planning these pivots. Just quick stat, 9 out of 10 sellers are not going to accept the cash offer. 9 out of 10 sellers are not in a position where the cash offer is super attractive enough so that they would trade the equity for the speed and convenience that it comes with. So we want to make sure that we are prepared to pivot when they hesitate, when they're giving us some of those pushbacks. We want to expect that so that we can practice those. Maybe you're coming into our Wednesday role plays, right? And you are practicing those objections so that when they come up, you know exactly how to handle them. We are letting the seller tell us what their thoughts are. We shouldn't be going into any conversation saying, well, I know they won't accept a low ball offer. Or I know they won't accept a cash offer. Be prepared for when they won't accept it, but put the ball in their court and actually get that feedback from the seller. Okay, so again, just doubling down here, it works because sellers are curious, right? They want to know what can they sell their house for conveniently without the process of staging, repairing, all of those good stuff to help them get top dollar. They do want certainty and they want options. You know, we want you to be different than the everyday agent that's going in and saying, "Hey, Mr. Seller, I can list your house and help you get exposure and get you top dollar. And while I still believe that that's true, right? I still believe that that is the case. I think now more than ever in today's market, how you come to market is so important. Testing different price theories because maybe you want, the highest sale in the neighborhood, it just may not be the right market for that. And so we want to help you use a process that helps you come to the market in a price that actually makes sense. Yeah, I'll get you guys all this replay is going to be available on Solutions YouTube channel, and it will have linked in the slide deck for you to go out and be able to check through everything that we went over today. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I do see another question here about EO forms where you fill out property condition. So those forms are not anything that you actually turn into the platform, but we do have property condition report that's located in the download section of Express Offers. If you need any help finding that, definitely reach out to me on Slack, and I can help you walk through how to actually get to the information. Do want to let you guys know really quickly, we do have EO Pro coming. So EO Pro, essentially, we are sunsetting our legacy platform. So the platform that you all have been in, have learned to love over the 4 years, 5 years that it's been since it's been up. We are migrating away from that. We're doing so in order to have best in class technology for you, get you access to landing pages and widgets that you can add to your actual website, so you can control the lead gen aspect of Express Offers and the value props. It's really cool because it will have CRM integrations to help you be more efficient in your conversations with sellers and how they're engaging with that outreach. Certification with additional benefits. So certification is now going to be a part of the Pro subscription. Don't worry about losing access to buyers. That's one thing that is we have tweaked for the new experience, is that whether you are EO Pro subscriber or not, you will have access to all of the available buyers in your market. So you won't need to be certified just to send it to multiple buyers on our platform. Super excited about that. We have and still will continue to do our weekly masterminds and have an exclusive community for those EO Pros to go really deeper into collaboration and be more intentional about leveraging this value prop. Go ahead and scan this QR code to join our interest list. You are getting, as a member of the interest list, 20% off the first 30 days. The platform or EO Pro subscription is going to be $25 per month. And again, logging on and joining our interest list will save you 20% on the first 30 days. I'll leave that up for a second. And then I've prepared a top of mind campaign for you all. This is for that, again, in between appointment 1 and 2, when you just need to kind of let the seller know you're thinking about them, let them know that you're still staying at work, so that again you're top of mind and they don't move on too fast without you. So go ahead and scan that as well. Get access to that campaign and add it to your CRM so that you have an efficient way to connect with the sellers once you do have that first appointment. Question about CRM integration and working with all three. So I'm not sure. Don't quote me on the ones that it has specific hookups for. I will get that information as we roll out. But we also leverage Zapier with this platform, and so it will be pretty nimble with most CRM. So stay tuned for more information, but we'll definitely get clarity on exactly which ones we have direct connect to. Believe that takes us to the end of our slide deck. Yep. And I do want to open up to see if there are any questions. Do have some time to answer questions today. Yes, so that's a great question. Down here in the chat, asking about listing side compensation. So yes, you still are going to be paid from the seller. Seller will be paying your compensation. Now, if you're a EO certified pro, where you are representing the buyers in our platform, the buyers will actually pay your compensation. That's going to roll out again with EO Pro. Is there additional cost to the seller? Uh, s- so additional costs, some buyers do have program fees that they charge, and it will be clear, and they'll let you know exactly what those fees are so that you can add them to your net sheets. But there's no like one set amount. Most of the buyers on the platform actually pay us rather than charge the consumer a fee. So you'll just need to, again, work with the buyers to make sure that you understand if they do or don't have those fees attached. As for the previous slide, let's see if I can make, is that the one? So we really try to stay away from the word guaranteed just because every house won't qualify for an offer. But if it does qualify, you should be able to get an offer back within 48 hours. But I would definitely stay away from the word guaranteed. And depending on who you're marketing, I'd actually even stay away from the word cash. If you are marketing like the general market, then you may want to use a word like as is or simply offer, just because for a lot of people, cash offers have like a negative connotation, and you won't be able to leverage that seller's curiosity about a single offer, whether it's cash or not. So I will make sure that team gets the copy of this slide deck. Benefits to EO Pro. So yeah, there are a couple of things here as part of EO Pro, and there's going to be more information coming down the pipeline on that. You should be receiving, if you're already certified, you should be receiving email from us in regards to the rollout of EO Pro. But if not, definitely join our Slack channel and stay close to the fire as we have more announcements coming on EO Pro. Hey Neil, great question. It's fairly simple, and I actually did a training on this. Would you consider an offer? It's really that simple. And once they say yes, because they've already had their hand up as someone who was previously listed on the MLS, or they're a for sale by owner and they're currently listed, then most times with that simple verbiage, you are going to get them to say yes. From there, the next logical step, and I say to them just like that, hey, the next logical step will be for me to come out and get a good idea of the actual condition of the property, just to make sure that it is something that would fit the buyer's needs. Want to make sure that we're not wasting any of their time or yours. And so I'm going to be in the neighborhood today between 3 and 5, and then tomorrow again between 4 and 6. Which one of those times works better for you? Right. So again, that's simple for those of you who are outbound prospecting. Faith, the certification again is through an access quiz. It's done in Learn Worlds. We're going to be up probably allowing people to get certified for the next 2 weeks. As I mentioned earlier, the platform that we currently all use is sunsetting, likely to be sunset by the second week of October, meaning submissions will probably end the first week of October or the last week of September, just kind of depending on actual rollout. But yeah, that's how we're currently doing it now. So access quiz. Again, if you don't have that link, please reach out to me on Slack and I can get you that information. Amy, yes, please send an email to ExpressOffers team at exprealty.com and I can get you some help on that. Cool. Well, hey, is there any other questions? I know we ran a little bit over time today, but just wanted to make sure that you guys got a ton of value from this webinar. Please check out the replay. Leave us some comments, some feedbacks. Help us improve our training and making sure that everyone can leverage this powerful value prop. putting the certification link for the access quiz in the comments, so you all can just click there and head on over to take that quiz. But thank you all. Really appreciate it. Again, if you need or have any additional questions, reach out to us on Slack. We'll put the certification link in the replay as well. So we'll make sure it's part of this the description. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks all for coming. And don't forget the replay. We'll make sure that you have the link to the replay when it's ready to go.